Hello, Jonathan. How are you?
Hello, Nazim. How do I pronounce your name?
Nizam.
Nizam.
Yes.
I'm very well, thank you. I'm just actually 2 weeks ago I was in hospital with pneumonia. So
okay.
if the voice breaks up a little bit,
Sorry
you know, it's
for
because
that.
yeah.
And thank you very much, despite
It's okay.
the health condition, you have given this opportunity to interview you. So, friends, we have Jonathan here. So, he's a consultant, hypnotist, author, speaker, and edutainer. Jonathan is a world-leading subconscious skills and communications expert and observer. He's also an award-winning edutainer. Has performed, presented, studied, and shown others how to use the amazing art of hypnosis, leaving nursing in the early 1980s. So let's know more about Jonathan in his own words. So how did you get into this hypnotherapy, Jonathan?
Oh, through show business.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm basically an entertainer that learned hypnosis to use as a form of entertainment. I can't sing, I can't dance, I can't tell jokes. So that left magic or hypnosis, and I found the hypnotist earned a lot more money.
Okay.
Because there was a lot fewer of them, you know. That's it. That's the God's honest truth. I saw a rather famous person at the time. I won't drop names because nobody now knows who he is. But I saw him hypnotizing in an after-show party, and I said, "Can I do that?" He said, "Yeah, it's just suggestion." He said, "You say this, you do this, you do this." So I went away, and 5 minutes later I came back. I said, "Right, I've got the barman on the floor. What do I do now?" And that's literally how fast I picked it up, and you know, and then it became much more. In the United Kingdom, anybody can set themselves up as a healer, a hypnotherapist, a psychotherapist, anything like that, with no, you know, there's no rules. So you can set yourself up in an office and talk to people with schizophrenia, and there's no control of the rules. But if you want to do hypnosis in the United Kingdom in front of 2,000 people, witnesses in a theatre who can hear every word you say because you've got a microphone in your hand, you have to have a license. And I learned hypnotherapy because it was easier to get a license with some letters after your name. So I went on a few courses, and then you know, you do a show and people would come up to you after the show and say, "Hey, I've got this problem, can you help me?" You know? So so the one sort of strung off the other. So that's how I got into, you know, much wider, much broader picture.
Okay.
But I'm very, very careful of saying this over and over again. I am a hypnotist, not a therapist. The difference is I see everybody as the potential to be as good as they can be. I do not see people as being sick and needing to be healed or cured.
Wonderful.
That's my viewpoint.
Wow. Well said.
You know.
Thank you. And could you please tell me, like, you have created amazing resources for hypno world. So here comes my first course that you have created. Like, what is this hypnosis installed course about?
Right. Can I just correct you here?
Please.
You will not find a course with my name on it.
Okay.
What you will find are classes that you can learn stuff from, but a course has an official beginning, a curriculum, and an end, which you should, if it's a proper course, be able to fail.
Okay.
Right? Mine are classes. I teach what I know, and I only teach what I've proved in the field to work. And I just teach what I know. So they are classes not courses.
Not courses. Thank you for that.
Hypnosis installed, however, is a very, very special beast. What we decided to do was to create a video where if you watch it, you will learn to hypnotize, and it's been put together hypnotically so that there are repetition in there, there's suggestions in there, you see things from different angles, you just watch it. And if you turn off and watch it 5 or 6 times, you'll be able to hypnotize somebody without study, without learning. It's designed to use hypnosis to teach hypnosis. That's why we're installing hypnosis in the viewer.
Oh.
So if you watch it enough, you'll learn to do it. You learn to do that exactly the same way as you learn to write, by copying what the teacher put down, in the way that you learn to drive, by doing the movements over and over and over again until I became subconscious. And that's what Hypnosis Installed is for. It's for teaching that, you know. And I do believe it's the only product like that in the world ever, you know, that's done just to install hypnosis in the head of the person who watches it, and you will be able to do it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Amazing, isn't it?
And to make it more interesting, we thought, right, we can do this really, really boring, you know, when we can get a university involved or something like that. So what we went and hired one of the top music video producers in the country, and he came in and he directed it and produced it and everything. So the film in it is superb. The cuts that are made, everything about it is top-notch professional. You know, I think it's the best hypnosis teaching program in the world, but I am very, very biased. Obviously, you know, but Tim Box, who is a fabulous hypnotist. He came to me after I taught him, you know, and he studied with me, and he came to me and said there ought to be something you can do that nobody else has ever done, and that's, you know, so he helped me to produce it, and that because he was involved in music, and so that's Hypnosis Installed. It's a very, 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 very unique and special program. And if you buy it, I guarantee that within 6 or 7 days, if you watch it and repeat it and repeat it and repeat it, you will be able to do all the hypnosis inductions and wake up and everything. Just very good.
And who coined this term Gnosis? What is it all about?
Gnosis. Yeah, many years ago. And I know you do EFT.
Yeah.
I came across EFT. Actually, I came across the tapping through Roger Callahan, through the work of Roger Callahan. And I was put onto that by a hypnotist who I trained with called Gil Boyne. And Roger Callahan had come up with this tapping the meridian things. Now, I mean, the meridians have been around with us for thousands of years, you know. Yes. I mean,
it's nothing new.
A lot of people say, oh, Gary Craig invented the meridians. He didn't. Otzi, which is an Icelandic corpse that was found in the ice in the North Pole, had tattoos on his body of the meridian lines, and he is nearly 100,000 years old. So, you know, it's been around for a long time, yes. The idea. And then I was looking at what Gary Craig was doing with the tapping, but Gary came at it from a very NLP point of view, neuro-linguistic programming, and he added things like even though I have a headache, I completely and absolutely accept myself, which to a hypnotist is a terrible suggestion. You know, that is a lousy affirmation. for me. But I was experimenting at the time with symbolism, which we'll talk about a little later on. And I quite like the meridian idea, but I have a neuromuscular condition called Charcot Marie Tooth syndrome, and I live in a wheelchair now. But tapping is very sore for me. It's very uncomfortable. So I did my own research, and Gnosis is not an offshoot of EFT. Gnosis is a different thing. Yeah, it's more hypnotic. And what I came across was meridian massage, which instead of tapping on one side or the other side, you use both sides and you very, very gently rub. I am rubbing so lightly, I'm not even moving my skin. Yeah, and you rub above the meridian. Now I find that pleasing. Yeah, and the people I've taught it to, some people prefer the tapping, they find that more invigorating, and some people prefer my method. It's basically, otherwise, it's the same principle. It's Roger Callahan's principle that the motive set up in our body can somehow be blocked, and if you clear the blockage, the emotions can work the way they should. You know, I'm not 100% in that philosophy, but it works. Yeah, and Gnosis is my version of that for people who can't get EFT to work, or you know, maybe mine would, you know. But we have a saying in this country: horses for courses, you know, and you don't run a horse that jumps over fences on a flat ground because they won't win the race. Oh. So you've got to find what fits you, you know. But Gnosis has been around as long as EFT, but I'm not as good a businessman as Gary Craig, so so it didn't become as renowned, you know. But lots of people who use it like it. Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. And you also have a class on hypnotic symbolism. So what is this symbols about?
Yeah,
I know Reiki has symbols.
Symbolism ties in very much. Sorry, symbolism ties in very much with Gnosis. Yeah, okay. Because I was messing around. The beauty of being a stage hypnotist is that even though you're out in public, you can experiment. And you can do things that therapists don't dare do. And you can ask questions the therapist would never ask. And also, I truly believe this. There's 20% of people who don't do hypnosis. And it doesn't matter what you do, you could hit them across the back of the head with a swinging brick. They will not go into what you could usably call a hypnotic condition. Yeah, that's from the point of view of a hypnotist, not from general, you know, misunderstanding of what hypnosis is. But on the other hand, there's the other end of that, where there's 20 or 30% of people who are very, 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 very hypnotizable, and that's only 1.2 billion people in the world. So it's not a lot, you know. But when you're doing stage hypnosis, we only look for those people, and the people that we have on stage are definitely hypnotized. They are very, very, very hypnotized. So interviewing them and talking to them about their experience afterwards over a drink or whatever is very, very interesting and teaches you a lot. And what I realized is that nobody thinks in words and written language when they are hypnotized. Nobody. They visualize, they conceptualize with the senses. They smell smells that aren't there, or we can get rid of smells that are there. They taste things that are there. You know, I've given thousands of people red hot Spanish onions to eat, and I've ate them and said, swore blind that they are eating an apple, you know, with no other reaction. Now, if I bite into an onion or you bite in, I like onion. I like raw onion. Yeah. But it still makes my nose run a little. It still makes my tear ducts fire because of the sulfuric acid that comes out of it. You know, I mean, that's it.
Yeah.
But I have given thousands of people that and not seen a single one of them react physiologically to the onion.
Okay.
So that proves to me that the mind can override the physiology to a degree. So I experimented, but one thing I noticed was that we think subconsciously in symbols. So if I say to you childhood, what's the first thing that springs into your mind?
My childhood home has come to my mind.
You can see the childhood home.
Yes.
Yeah, that's your symbol for your childhood. Right? Try this at your next class. Ask the front row of 6 or 7 people, yeah, to do the same thing, and then ask each one, and each one will have a different symbol for their childhood, even though they all shared a childhood.
Yes.
Yeah, right. And we've had things like balls, dolls, swings, bridges, you know, sometimes some nastier, crueler things, you know, sadly.
Yes.
That's the way the world works. But, you know, and people will symbolize. So if I ask you, do you have a problem? And you say yes, would you like to get rid of that? I never ask that. I always say, right, okay. Have you come to me with a problem, an issue that you want to get rid of? Or have you come to me with an achievement you want to achieve? If they say I've come with an issue, say, right, do you know where you're going with that? Do you know what you want to achieve? And they say yes. And I say, so it's an achievement, really? They say yes. Half the job's done.
Okay.
Because they have changed their issue into an achievement. And I haven't done anything yet, you know? So that's half the job done. So, but if I say, have you got an issue? Can you get a symbol for that? And you say, oh, yeah. Now a symbol could be a sound. It could be a remembered song or something like that. It could be a smell. It could be the touch of wind or somebody's touch on your face. It could be anything. It could be any sensual experience, you know. What it actually is, inside our brain, our neurons are making connections into a pattern that is associated with that experience that we want to change. Yeah. And that's what's actually happening. But to make sense of that, we have to turn it into a symbol that our conscious mind understands. And words are only symbols, you know. I mean, I am sure if I get one of your newspapers, I will not be able to read it because I have not been taught the symbols in Sanskrit or whatever. Right. You'd be able to read English, I know, because you've read my emails, and that's only because you've been taught what those symbols mean. You know, the sound those symbols make. Right. So in symbolism, it goes like this. Do you have a problem you would like to solve? Yes or no?
Yes.
Well, everybody has.
Yeah.
Even I have talked to the world's greatest personal developments, and they all go, well, yeah, okay.
No, I
haven't talked to Tony Robbins because he's the only one I know that would probably say no. But, you know, everybody else I've talked to, Richard Bangler, Paul McKenna, you know, people like that, they've all got. But, okay. If I asked you how bad that problem was, 10 being the worst it could be for that problem, and 0 being, where would you say the score is?
6.
6. Now, we've just used a thing called SUD, subjective unit of disorder or distress. Now, I don't know about in India, but I guess they do, or an equivalent of it. But if a paramedic comes to you, if an ambulance person comes to you, if a doctor comes to you, and you're in pain, they will ask you your SUD. They will say, if 10 is the worst pain you've ever had, how bad is this pain? And certainly for anybody in the UK, I always suggest that they say it's 7, no matter how bad it is, because at 7, they give you the morphine. Okay. And it's very, very nice, morphine. Yeah. So that's a joke, by the way. Yeah. A bad one, but a joke. I told you I couldn't tell a joke. But, right, okay, so 7. Now, SUDs are suggestive units of distress or disorder. Gary Craig in EFT did not invent SUDs. Thomas Wolpe invented SUDs to use with EMDR many, many years before EFT was a thing, you know. But I always use SUDs because how else do we know? How else do we know?
We need to assess. So
yes, we need to know. I need to know your assessment of where you are. Otherwise, I've got to impose my assessment of where you are. And I'll tell you one thing for certain, after 40 years of doing this, I could be wrong. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to work entirely in your head, not in mine. Right? Now, we've done no formal hypnosis or anything, but close your eyes. And I'm going to clap my hands. And when I clap my hands, the symbol is going to come forward for that thing you want to change. Now, open your eyes. Open your eyes. Now, I know you've got something in your head. I don't know what it is. I don't want to know. I don't need to know. Only you need to know that. It may make sense. It may make perfect logical sense to you. It may not. If it doesn't, I prefer that because then it's subconscious. And you think, well, what's that got to do with that? You know, but right now, here's the thing with symbols. You can change them because you invented that symbol. You invented that connection in your neurons and you can change it. You can do that and change it. Yeah, right. Close your eyes. Think of that symbol. And I want you to bring forward, when I clap my hands, a symbol for what that should be. Do you understand? Right, now, you've got both symbols in your head. Change the first symbol for the second symbol, using whatever process your subconscious mind decides to do. And when you've done that, let me know.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes, okay, open your eyes. Now, we were at a 7, where are we?
It was for a pain. It is a 3.
Sorry?
3. Now 8. It is at 3.
3. It's come down to a 3. Okay. So the second symbol wasn't quite strong enough. It wasn't quite the right symbol. But that's okay, because your subconscious mind doesn't work in huge, great big leaps. It works in little steps. Right, close your eyes again. Think of the symbol you've got now. I'm going to clap my hands and think of the symbol it should be. You got that? You got that, yes?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, you're shaking your head. It means a different thing in the UK.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
No. I fully understand there's a cultural difference, so I'm just double checking. Yes. Yeah, right. Change the symbol that you had for the new one, using whatever process your subconscious mind wants to use, and let me know when that's finished. Say yes.
Yes.
Okay, open your eyes. You were at a 3. Where is it now? Can you find it?
1.
1. Still not good enough. We never stop till we get to, yeah, gone. Right. So close your eyes. I'm going to clap my hands. Bring out the really powerful symbol this time. The really good one. The one that absolutely clears everything, and do that now. You've got that. Yes. You've got that. Yes. Okay. Say yes for me.
Yes.
Because,
oh, sorry.
yeah.
Yes.
It's just easier if you say yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, change the 2 symbols. Convert them. Move them. I don't care how you do it or what you do, providing you do it and you end up with a symbol that's really fantastically magnificent.
Yes.
Okay, open your eyes. It's getting a little more difficult to open your eyes each time.
Yeah, it was a little difficult. I was little.
I haven't done any formal hypnosis here at all.
Yes, yes, yes.
I don't need to. I'm a hypnotist. You know I'm a hypnotist. You contacted me and said, hey, can I interview you for my show? Yeah. So I know you believe I'm a hypnotist.
Yes.
I believe I'm a hypnotist. So every single word I've been saying to you during this whole process is hypnosis. Do you understand that?
Yes, yes, yes.
We don't need trance. We don't need formal hypnosis.
Not. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
That's a misnomer. I've got a video on my YouTube channel, John Chase. If you go to YouTube John Chase, Jon, you'll find it. You'll find it on there, where I show that trance is just the result of a suggestion. It is not hypnosis. Right. Okay. Think about the issue, the problem that you've been dealing with. How does it feel? Where's it? Is there a score, or is there?
It's 0 now.
Yeah. Okay. Open your eyes. Right. How does that feel?
It
Different?
feels comfortable now. Earlier it was heavy. Now it feels lighter and comfortable.
Okay. Okay. Now, we're going to embed that. Yeah. This is a little bit hypnosis-y, but you won't go into trance. I promise you. Right? Or if you do, I'll bring you out. Don't worry. Yeah. But I'm also going to demonstrate my wake-up procedure, which I call the hypnotic buzz. And I developed this on stage because after 2.5 hours of being hypnotized on stage and going through all the physical work that people do, you know, pretending to be ballet dancers and God knows what else, they need waking up.
Yes.
Because the worst thing that can happen after a show is 12 people wondering about the theatre going, oh, I don't feel well. You know, you've got to wake them up. So I developed this wake-up procedure. But, right, close your eyes. And I want you to enter a perfect place, the place that's just wonderful for you. Everything about this place is absolutely perfect. The light's right, the temperature's right, the comfort's right, the air's right. Everything is perfect for you. Whatever's in this place or out of this place is perfect for you. Nod your head when you've got that in your head. And it doesn't have to be bright and powerful. It will get better.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I want you to create in this place a place of honor, a place of power. And I want you to take this new symbol that you got for the thing we've been dealing with, and I want you to put that in that place of honor and power and to cement it some way so that it will never move. This will be part of you forevermore. And when you're sure that that's happened, say yes.
Yes.
Okay. Now, I want your subconscious mind to know that for the next few nights, just before you go to sleep, you'll come into your perfect place and you will see that symbol and it will just embed it. So 1, you're feeling more aware. 2, every nerve, every muscle, every fiber becoming fully awake and fully alive. 3, take a deep breath, a really deep breath, cool, clear mountain air. And 4, you can feel like cool, clear mountain spring water washing the back of your eyes, your nose, opposed to use your throat, your head's clear, your nose is clear, your throat's clear, your eyes bright and shining. In 5, wide awake, wide awake. Open your eyes and stretch, stretch.
Yes.
Now, you were formally hypnotized there for about 30 seconds. That's enough.
Wow. Amazing. So many innovations, Jonathan. Hypnosis.
No. I am incredibly lazy.
Okay.
I hate to work hard. So when I was born with a neuromuscular condition. It didn't really start to show badly until I was about 16. But before then, I was always the clumsy kid. You know, I was the one that I couldn't climb ropes. I could play football very badly. You know, my friends used to take bets on how long I'd be before I fell over, you know, because I was always falling over. And when you've had a lifelong disability, one thing that the beauty of having a disability is you have to think, how do I do that? And how do I do that easily?
Okay.
Yeah, and simply. And that is just through my whole life. I'm one of these people who will stand behind people saying, you could do that better. You could do that easier. You know, I mean, people hate me for that, but
That's the secret.
it's not so much clever innovation as self-preservation and just the fact that I don't like to work hard. I hate working hard.
Okay. Right. And do really this rapid inductions work? Was about to ask, but you have
Yes,
done the whole
absolutely.
session.
Look. Let's say you were 5, right? And you were involved in a very bad car accident. Yeah. I was in 1985, I was driving along the road. A gentleman came out of a side street. He was having a heart attack and he turned his car head on into mine and it killed him. But I walked away with a few bruises and that sort of thing. But I'll tell you from personal experience, that car accident lasted about 3.5 seconds.
Oh.
It doesn't last long. Yeah. The cars came together, mine rolled over, and yeah. But that could it not, and you've met people like this, have left me with a traumatic event that has affected my whole life. But it only took a moment. If the thing that causes the thing only takes a moment, why do we think the cure has to be long? It doesn't.
Yes.
It's that does not make sense. If I can say in an argument with a woman, a man says to a woman, "Oh, you're frigid. You don't know how to make love. You're terrible. Yeah, right." And she takes that on board in that moment. That suggestion could stick with her for decades and interrupt every single relationship that she ever has with a man going forward. We agree about that, yeah?
Yes, I agree.
So why can't a simple direct suggestion recuperate that?
Okay.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yes.
To think that the cure has to be longer than, you know.
Wonderful.
It just doesn't make any sense. I can't see, you know, I'm not a very good hypnotic subject. My hands don't stick together or anything like. Well, One guy did that, but sadly he's no longer with us. He died at Christmas. But my partner Jane, she says the reason you're not a very good hypnotic subject is you're all subconscious anyway. You know. So yeah, okay. So, but yeah. So I'm always looking at things and thinking, why is that got to be so complicated?
Simplify, that's it.
Yeah. Einstein is attributed with saying everything should be made as simple as possible, but not simpler. So there is a point where you have to stop and think, well, and like I've just demonstrated to you, and you remember, you know, we didn't just redress a pattern inside your head, we consolidated it. So yes, direct suggestion works, but we make sure it's going to stick.
Okay.
Do you get me?
Yes.
Yeah. I know a lot of hypnotherapy training and teaching that doesn't even teach you how to test for hypnosis. And providing somebody has got their eyes closed and they're not moving much and they're making some nice noises, you assume they're hypnotized. And they could just be sitting there and thinking, this is what I'm supposed to do.
Okay.
And you are having no effect on them whatsoever at all, you know. And I don't know about other countries, but certainly what I found working with Indians for my TEDx talk and that, is that you are much more polite than we are.
Oh.
So very often in Britain, you know, somebody will turn around and say, excuse me, this isn't working, you know. But I don't know about India whether that would be the case, you know, because you're in that sense, you're in that teacher position, that, you know. So I think it's important that we get it in our head that we always check to see if it's worked, and then we consolidate it so that it's going to stick as long as possible. That doesn't mean they won't talk themselves out of it. That doesn't mean that something else isn't going to happen, you know. I broke 17 bones in my foot by sitting on it one day, you know, years ago. And 3 years later, I fell off a stage and broke my femur. So just because one broken bone got healed doesn't mean you can't break another. You know, they're not the same bone, you know. And I think we have to be very careful when we're talking about emotions and that we think it's always the same bone that's broken. It isn't. It might look similar, but it's actually a whole different symbol, a whole different pattern that needs changed. And that's all we can do with hypnosis or therapy or EFT or anything, is change the pattern we've got for the pattern we want. That's all we can do. We can do nothing else. Yeah.
Beautiful. And what is this move it technique?
Oh, the movie. I many years ago, I went to a spiritualist church, and I don't know if you understand spiritualist church, but in the United Kingdom it's quite big. It used to be big in America, but we invented seances and psychics and everything in this country in the 1800s, and not too long ago, you know, about the same time as hypnosis was being so, and they have a lot of hands-on healers and stuff like that. And I was watching these people, and I was watching what was going on, and I was figuring that out with a hypnotist's head, you know, because I see everything. I see everything with a hypnotist's head. So I'm looking for the suggestion. I'm looking for the, you know, I'm looking for the acceptance of the suggestion. I'm looking for the hypnotic connection between the healer and the healed. And And I thought, oh, that might be useful, you know. And then I used to go in a little cafe, and one day the woman that ran the cafe, she said to her husband, she said, I'm going home. You know, they made tea and cakes, and, you know, it's just somewhere to sit, and very pleasant on the seaside, and you could see the sea, and it was nice. And they did lovely cakes, and I went in there most mornings, you know. And Patricia said, I'm going home. I've got one of my headaches coming on. And I said, is it migraine? She said, yeah. I said, sit down. And I said, right. I said, show me where it is. Point at it. She said, it's here. I said, how big is it? She went, oh, it's massive. I went, what color is it? She said, it's red. I said, what shape is it? She said, oh, it's all spiky. I said, right. Move it somewhere else where it isn't those things, and show me where it is. And she went, it's here. And I said, what shape is it? She said, oh, it's rounder, softer. I said, what color is it? She said, it's gone a bit green. I said, what size is it? She said, oh, it's much, much smaller. I said, right, put it in the shoulder of your opposite arm. So she did that. I said, what now? She said, oh, it's much smaller. I said, right, okay. We moved it to the elbow. We moved it to the hand. We got her to look at it. It was nothing. It was like a fluffy little cloud. I said, do you want it? She said, no. I said, throw it away. And then I said nothing. And this is important. They must feel your confidence. They must feel your surety that this has worked. Do you understand me? Yeah. Even though you are thinking inside, has this worked? Has this worked? You must never let them see that. So I said, right, okay. And she sat there for about 2 or 3 minutes. And she said, Phil, she said, give John some cake. They're gone.
Wow.
Now, here's my theory. If you make the sensation and pain a physical thing, pain. I get quite a bit of pain with my neuromuscular. It's a neurology, so you know it's not real pain. There's nothing wrong. It's just nerves firing. I know that. I'm aware of it. I ignore it. Yeah. But say you have it could be a broken heart. It could be anything, because we describe that as painful. Yeah, it doesn't have to be a physical condition like a headache. Move It works with everything the same as symbolism does. It's just another form of symbolism. Yeah, but more staged and more controlled. I prefer symbolism because I don't know if you noticed, I do not know what your symbols are. Yes. I don't know what your problem was. I don't know anything about what went on in your head. You picked the procedures. I did nothing except guide. Yeah, that's all. And make sure that you get to nothing. Gone. Yeah, I know nothing about it. I don't want to know. I don't need to know. If you want to tell me about it afterwards, I will sit there nodding and thinking, what am I going to have for my dinner? Because I'm not interested.
Okay.
I'll tell you why. Because as soon as you start telling me, you are giving me a conscious interpretation of a subconscious process. And that will change the process.
Okay.
Do you get me? Right? So you can't tell. In one of my books, it says, what does hypnosis feel like? And what I said is, it feels like green, really good green. Because, you know, it's an entirely individual experience. And although people describe it similarly, it's different for everybody, although the result is the same. The actual interpretation is different. So I'm very, very careful not to go too much into the conscious, and not to try and add logic and reason to, because if we could just add logic and reason, nobody would be screwed up, would they? Nobody would have emotional problems. Nobody would be ill. Nobody would have anxiety, because if you look at what's making you anxious, you know, you could be anxious about the Russians invading Ukraine, but you know, what anxious is not a logical response to that, because unless you happen to have an army of your own and can do something about it, there's very little you can do about it except observe. And yes, you can feel, you know, whatever emotions that brings forward, but anxiety and feeling sick won't help in any way whatsoever at all with the situation. So we know that applying common sense and logic and reason to things doesn't work, because if it did, no hypnotherapist would ever see a client.
Good. And this subconscious communication tutorial, so could you please tell about it?
Well, I've been demonstrating it since we started.
Yes, I've been doing that. Got it. And psychic past life.
It's that idea in my head that every word I say is hypnosis.
Okay.
Because you think I'm a hypnotist.
Yes.
So that means that every word I say is hypnotic. Yeah. And that puts you in a very powerful situation. Somebody said to me once, is hypnosis a power? Yes, if you give me that power. Yeah. And if your belief is with me, you have given me that power. Now, what I believe is that means I have a great deal of responsibility.
Yes.
Because everything I say could make a difference. And I could take things the wrong way. So I'm very careful what I say.
So, thank you. So you have been demonstrating wonderfully each question I'm asking you. You are making it more experiential. And I promise this is my last question to you, Jonathan. This is psychic past life recall. So how is it different from the general past life regression?
It's just a slightly different. I was, I believe, the first UK hypnotist in the 1980s to do. I did a series of 12 radio shows of live past life regressions.
Okay.
But we were doing regressions, you know, and we were saying, right, I'm taking you back in time to a life before this life, and doing all that sort of thing, very formalized. And what I noticed was not everybody got there. So I thought, right, is there a simpler, easier way I can do this outside of trance? Because I like to work, I think hypnosis works better outside of trance. Yeah, I will always add a little bit of trance at the end, like I did with you in The Perfect Place. Yeah, always add a little bit so that people think, oh yeah, I've been hypnotized. But I prefer to work outside of it. It's easier, it's cleaner. Yeah, and I can read micro expressions. I can read, I haven't been trained in any reading micro expressions. It's something human beings do. Yeah.
Yes.
And of course we can be wrong, because culturally, you know, a head nod could be a head shake. So, you know, you have to verify things all the time. But so I've forgotten the question.
Like psychic recall? Psychic past life recall.
So I thought, well, how can I simplify that? Now, we know because we can put electrodes on people's heads, and we can follow the electrical resistance of neurons firing chemically together. So we know that actually Mesmer was right. There is a magnetic electronic system. He just got it wrong, thinking it was like the blood system. And of course, he didn't know about electrolysis and stuff like this. I mean, like I said, I had pneumonia a couple of weeks ago. I had a CAT scan. You know, that's just, it's just electronics and magnetism looking inside your body, you know. So we know that the body is magnetic, and we know that electricity and magnetism is a resonance, it's a vibration. So what I thought was, right, okay, when you're remembering something, when you're recalling something, why don't we just resonate your mind into recalling something? So instead of going into a deep trance and doing traveling back in time scenario, what I do is I go into a very light trance, and I get you to say, remember an incident in your childhood, or you know, or an incident 3 years ago, and then an incident in your childhood, and then one before that. And we find that a lot more people get into past lives than, you know, doing it that way. It's a lot more difficult in the West to get past lives, because, you know, unlike Eastern religions like Buddhism and that, which take reincarnation as a, you know, a set thing, you know, we closed that off a couple of thousand years ago by saying, no, you just go up to heaven and you stay there, you know. And so when people start talking about past lives and that, you know, over here, you get that resistance that, you know, oh, no, that doesn't happen, you know. But what I found is it's just an easier way. And because you're in light trance, you're talking to the conscious, not the subconscious, you know. You're talking to the conscious that's interpreting what the subconscious is giving it. So it's easier, if you're not too far down, to have that conversation and to ask the questions. And we still do the same thing. We still say, right, I want you to move forward. I want you to move backward in this life, you know. I always worry about leading people as well in past life. So, and what I find with resonance, you know, we ask very, very simple, very unleading questions, like, are you indoors or outdoors? Now, we want you to go back to being a human being, not a frog, you know, because we might not be able to understand what the frog's thinking. So we're presuming that a human being is either indoors or outdoors, you know. If you go back to caveman days, you're still indoors or outdoors.
Yes.
So it's a question that doesn't lead, and we give both interpretations, so that you know. And yes, we are pointing people. I've seen stage hypnotists doing past life regressions, and they've said things like, "Are you wearing a belt?" Yes, I'm wearing a belt. Is there anything heavy on it? Yes, there's something heavy. You know, is it sharp? Yes, I'm carrying a sword. You know, and I mean, you can lead very easily like that.
Yes.
So, so resonance is just another simplification. You know, none of these are innovations. There's just simplifications that work.
Simple innovation.
I'm a very simple person. Trust me. Everybody who's met me will say that.
I got it. And thank you very much, Jonathan, for your time. It was wonderful.
No problem whatsoever at all. I've enjoyed every moment.
Really enjoyed. And thanks for these amazing classes for the world. And it's beautiful and simple.
Yeah, if you go to my site, jonathanchase.com, or you can get there by going to thehypnotist.com, and it says learn hypnosis here now, and that takes you to all my online classes.
Yes. What I'm going to do is in the YouTube description, I'm going to make all the links available. People who
Yeah, I know, but I've got a piece of paper here that says, don't forget to plug the website. Because I'm a terrible businessman and I'll forget to plug it. So it's written down here. Don't forget to plug the website.
No, I am going to make the website details available there.
Oh, fabulous.
Thank you once again.
You're very welcome, my friend. You're very welcome. I hope we talk again. Bye-bye.
Bye.